o'clock.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined today by my two rather spicy co-hosts. To my right, it is the one and only Uncle Sam.
God bless Bruce Jenner.
And behind the computer, just tossing his own salad, it is Bruce, the tugging on it boat, Venditti.
What's up?
And we are here with another edition of Fantasy Frenzy. This time we are focused in on Week 10. Some fantasy seasons are coming right down to the wire.
Especially yours.
Especially mine, because I had to sell the house this week to try and stay relevant. But this is about the time of year where Uncle Sam completely shits the bed fantasy-wise and limps into the playoffs for his first-round exit. Bruce, on the other hand...
At least I make the playoffs.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be talking
I'm
about
definitely not making the play.
when Jalen Waddle goes off for 35 against Cleveland this week.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk quarterbacks to start off today's fantasy frenzy. We will do some news here at the end. Couple guys that I'm a real big fan of this week. Actually, hold on. So Josh Allen is questionable with an elbow injury, right? If he does not play against Minnesota, which I'm not a huge fan of that matchup anyways, Case Keenum would become the starter for Buffalo. If you are a Josh Allen owner, you might not have another quarterback on your bench. Do you start Case Keenum?
Absolutely.
You would plug and play Case Keenum for a week.
Case Keenum could put points up. Is Case Keenum a legitimate quarterback in this league?
Yeah.
He's a legitimate backup in this league and could put points up. He's proved it time in, time out. I would play him, especially with that team. That team clicks no matter who's in there. I truly believe that.
So you think Case Keenum would get enough to get you the dub?
He'll get you enough to get you by. He's going to put up 18, 19 points this week, and he'll be solid.
Yeah, I don't expect him. Josh Allen's averaging 30 points a week, so I don't expect that.
I don't expect that from Case Keenum whatsoever, but he'll give you 18, 19 this week.
Absolutely. And I think if you're in a situation where you've had Josh Allen all year, then realistically, you can make it by a week with Case Keenum in there. I do agree with you there. One matchup that I'm very, very wary about this week is Justin Herbert at San Francisco. We still don't know with any certainty which wide receivers are healthy for the Chargers. They're not being 1,000% transparent.
Well, here's the thing. They continue to win with nobody.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
I mean, it's Eckler.
Yes, it's
Austin Eckler. It's the Austin Eckler show regardless.
Justin Herbert only put up a 13 last week against Atlanta with a pick, a touchdown, and 245 passing yards. Listen,
you could probably expect the same thing from him. I think a little better numbers, but I'd say a 15 to 19 point range.
This is what makes me wary here is when he played Denver, okay? And I would say Denver's probably the best defense he played outside of San Francisco this week.
Okay.
He went for 238, no touchdowns, and a pick. And 9 points. That would make me nervous as a Justin Herbert owner. Again, only 13 against Atlanta last week, 16 against Cleveland. And then you have games with Kansas City put up a 25. Vegas,
he hasn't had his and the games you're mentioning right now, they haven't been at full force at all.
I agree.
They're missing their two top receivers. So you got guys that are one guy's
Palmer.
a return guy, the other guy's a
Carter,
third guy at best.
Yeah.
Palmer, and then it'll click. If he gets one of those guys back this week, they'll click.
So I'm wary about Herbert this week. Just I don't know what to expect of him against San Francisco's defense, and there's still a lot of question marks about his current health.
I'd be more worried about Aaron Rodgers playing the fucking Cowboys this week.
Well, hold on. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers situation is very simple. Aaron Rodgers is currently QB 17. As far as my knowledge, there's not too many 17-team leagues out there. So realistically,
if he's without Dobbs this week and a couple of these other, he's going to be in trouble.
Realistically, we're on the you can drop train on Aaron Rodgers. That's where I'm at personally. I'm not playing him against Cowboys this week. I'm not keeping him on a roster. I'm parting ways with Aaron Rodgers in favor of I mean, realistically, I like Russell Wilson a lot more this week against Tennessee than I do Aaron Rodgers against Dallas.
Okay.
I like Taylor Heineke against Philly this week better than I like Rodgers against Dallas. I would even, honest to God, I would play PJ Walker at Atlanta with a -4 last week before I would play Aaron Rodgers at Dallas. And you might call me fucking crazy, but that's where I'm at. I think your upside potential with Aaron Rodgers is, I mean, the guy's averaging 15 points, and I think you're lucky to see him get that every week. He had a couple 17-pointers in there. Against the Giants, he had 19. He had 2 touchdowns. I mean, realistically, he had 3 picks last week against the Detroit Lions. And granted, he will throw for 200 yards a week, 220, 240, 250. And that's fine. But the touchdowns aren't there. He doesn't have a reliable target. He's not making good decisions. He has 4 picks in the last 2 games, 5 in the last 3. So I'm out on Aaron Rodgers right now. I'm not keeping him rostered because I think you have more upside with Russell Wilson. I think the upside's there more so than with Aaron Rodgers.
Russell Wilson was absolute trash first 4 weeks of the season.
I get it.
And he's yet to play an entire quarter, 2 quarters together. Good.
I can't disagree with you there, but
and he's another one that's been averaging single to double digit, maybe.
Upside. I see the Broncos and Russell Wilson getting it together before I see the Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers just needs to get a couple guys back. That's it.
Aaron Rodgers won't take this any longer.
Here's my situation. My ad of the week this week over somebody like Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson altogether would be Sam Ehlinger against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are currently 31st as far as pass defense goes. They allow a ton of points every week to everybody.
Is he your sleeper this week?
Sam Ehlinger is my sleeper this week. I'll say this. I watched the entire Jeff Saturday presser. Jim Irsay, Jeff Saturday presser. Okay.
Jim Irsay, I would say he's about 150 proof.
Oh, yeah. Easily. I mean, he's embalmed.
I don't know where he's coming from with any of this.
I don't know how to make sausage, but I do know how to make a football team.
He's talking about a former player that really doesn't have any kind of coaching experience above a high school level.
Correct. He was a consultant
That's
for
going to come in and run your team. I don't.
You want to know something?
You know what? I like it.
I love it.
You want to know why I like it?
I absolutely love it.
You want to know because he hasn't been polluted with the NFL bullshit
Correct.
yet.
I realistically, and you might call me fucking crazy here, and we'll talk about this more on Friday. I think Vegas.
I think Jeff Saturday will do very well getting the guys motivated to play.
Absolutely. Those guys.
I don't think that'll be an issue, especially if Peyton Manning's not there.
What has Indianapolis's biggest flaw been on that team this year?
Quarterback.
Well, outside of quarterbacks, they dug their own hole there. The offensive line.
The offensive line is putrid. They have not been good in 5 years.
If you're going to bring in possibly the best offensive lineman that's ever played there as your head coach, you should be able to figure it out.
Well, I mean, maybe he can help them guys with some schemes or something like that and try to protect who's there. The bad part is this. They've had 5 different quarterbacks in the last 5 years.
Absolutely.
6 years.
That's an issue.
They have not been able to protect any of them. You're talking about a 40-year-old Phillip Rivers. You're talking about fucking Carson Wentz, who they were unable to keep upright.
You can't protect him.
Huh?
So it doesn't matter if you can or can't.
I mean, it didn't matter who they put back there. It was the same thing. They couldn't protect. They haven't had an offensive. Does everybody forget that Andrew Luck was the most sacked fucking quarterback for 3 years straight when he was fucking drafted?
Yeah.
That's why the guy's not even in the fucking league anymore.
Switching gears here a little bit. I love Trevor Lawrence against Kansas City this week. Seemingly every quarterback that plays Kansas City goes for 25 points just because there's so much offense every week. I think I'm really impressed with what the Jaguars have been doing the last week. which I know is a pretty small sample size, but they showed glimmers of it in the beginning of the year. Trevor Lawrence showed glimmers of it in the beginning of the year. I'm rolling with Trevor Lawrence this week against Kansas City. I just think that's going to be a very high-scoring affair.
What about Justin Fields against the Lions this week?
Justin Fields
Anybody-
against Justin Fields a
Any
must
thoughts?
start. Justin Fields a must start every week going forward until he proves you wrong. I never thought
I
I'd
agree.
say it.
You put 44 points up last
Going
week.
forward,
Going forward,
ain't no way.
Going forward, Justin Fields is a weekly must start. I'm sorry, say what you want, but how can you? He's currently quarterback 8. All right, he put up
Did we switch places?
his last 5 games: 19, 19, 24, 27, 44. You have to. He's a must start. Period. Especially against the fucking Lions. Are you kidding?
Yeah. I agree.
In the early morning matchup, the Brady-Geno Smith matchup, I'm going to say this real fucking quick. I love Brady. I don't like Geno Smith.
I actually agree with you on this. I know a lot of guys are saying to start Geno Smith. If that defense shows up the way they did last week, I would be really hard pressed to say Geno Smith is going to have one bad afternoon.
I would have to agree with you there. Moving on to running backs. Let's talk about the Miami backfield for a second. It's full of Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. Everybody else there is, at this point, irrelevant. I have an odd feeling that we're in a little transition here. And Raheem Mostert showed points this year. He could be the starting guy there. I mean, he's currently running back 21, averaging 11 points a week. He has a 20-point game. He has an 18-point game. He has a 13-point game.
You
Here's
don't
the
give
issue.
him the ball enough.
Jeff Wilson is there now. They wouldn't have went out of their way to trade picks for this guy. And there's a part of me that really, really believes that Jeff Wilson
I think
will
Jeff
be the
Wilson
guy
is
there.
going to take that starting role here.
I agree.
If not this game, in the next couple of weeks.
I think it's going to be in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of running in this game, much more than Miami's used to. Obviously,
well, they're going to have to.
Yeah.
Because if not,
it's
they're
going to
get
be
embarrassed.
ugly quick.
They could get embarrassed.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. One that I don't know how I feel about this week is Miles Sanders against Washington. It's a Monday night game. Your back's going to be up against the wall if you need points to win. Washington, for some reason, they only allow the 10th most points to running backs. That front, as we said this on Monday's show, that front for Washington played well. They had a great game against Dalvin Cook last week. I'm not a huge fan of the Philadelphia. I mean, again, they're balanced, but if anybody's running the ball for the
I'm
Eagles,
going to go the opposite of what you're saying. I don't like Brian Robinson against Philadelphia's defense.
you let me
I
into my
don't like
next
them
point.
or Gibson against Philadelphia's defense.
Why? This is their second Monday night.
Who's?
Phillies.
I mean, yeah, they're undefeated.
I thought those are all predetermined.
They've been switching some around because Sunday night this week it was supposed to be Cincinnati and somebody else, and they switched it. But
what the hell?
So, again, I don't love any of the Washington backfield against Philly. I mean, you don't really love any backfield against Philly, but I'm not particular about what. I don't like either of those Monday night backfields against either team, period.
Okay.
Didn't they have a breakout game? Didn't Miles Sanders have a breakout game last Monday night he played?
He had a good game.
I mean, Miles Sanders has put up 28, 7, 13, 13, 15. So the points are there. Obviously, there's so many points being scored for the Philadelphia offense that the opportunity's there.
but then
It kind of gets spread around over
That's
there.
the thing. They get down to the red zone and then Jalen Hurts runs
it in, and that's the problem. And
And that's the problem with the running back situation at Philly.
correct. And the way that Washington honed in on Dalvin Cook last week, I'm not a huge fan of the Philadelphia running backs this week. My sit of the week this week is Leonard Fournette against Seattle. Yes, Seattle is not a great run stop team. I understand that. I think we're going to see, at least for the next game or two, I think we're going to see Tom Brady throwing 60 passes a game. That's just my opinion. I think that in order to get where they need to be to feel good, they have to. Tom Brady's going to have to put the team on his back. I don't love Fournette's workload thus far. Fournette's currently running back 9, and that's great. But his last 3 games have been a 3, a 13, and an 8. I'm not a huge fan of that, and I think I would steer away from Fournette until we get a sample size that certifies him back into the RB1 spot. Big question mark in Dallas right now. Ezekiel Elliott's questionable. Tony Pollard isn't. Who's going to be the guy?
Oh, you play Pollard. Play Pollard all the way. Listen, Pollard is going to – he's the guy that's going to – he's the difference maker on that team.
I agree wholeheartedly, and he took the words out of my mouth. If Zeke is active, you are still playing Pollard.
I would play Pollard regardless if he's active.
If Zeke is questionable still, he ain't going to be 100% healthy.
Let's all talk about the big fucking pink elephant in the room, okay? Pollard is a better running back than Elliott is at this point.
Right now, yes.
Period.
To start out the year, I disagree. I think if Dallas was smart, they'd let Zeke get healthy. Shut him down, run it with Pollard.
And go somewhere else.
I would sit Zeke the next 5 weeks.
I would sit Zeke until we see Tony Pollard shit the bed. Because
I would-
they're going to go with the hot hand.
would-
Jerry Jones is going to go with the hot hand. So I actually, and I do love Tony Pollard against Green Bay this week. He had a 3-touchdown performance last week. I really don't see the train stopping for Tony Pollard. And one other question that I got was, what do you do with this Carolina backfield? You got Deonta Foreman. You got Chuba Hubbard. Chuba's questionable. Foreman without Hubbard, 15-31. And then last week in Cincinnati, he had a 3.
But he only had a few carries last
7
week.
carries.
Huh?
It's 7 carries.
Yeah, that's just not enough. Listen, your running backs, unless they're getting 18 to 20 carries, 18 to 25 carries, are not going to be effective. Period. And I think when teams start to get down, you'll see all of a sudden you see the whole scheme change.
Yeah.
And they got down early last week, so he was not effective.
I agree with that. I expect him to have I expect Deonta Foreman
They're
to
going
have
to
a
come out with a purpose
back
this week.
bounce back game against Atlanta. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a 31
And they already beat Atlanta up once this year.
And
actually, the game came down to the wire.
I see them doing that again. Also, if you own a Rams running back, do yourself a favor and don't play him.
I sadly have to play Darnell Henderson this week
God bless, Bruce.
because there's nobody else out there.
Tell me about the receivers.
Well, what's there to talk about? I mean, it's real simple. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown against Commanders secondary. I love it.
A.J.
I love
Brown,
it.
currently
He's a
wide
fucking
receiver.
monster.
Currently wide receiver 7, averaging 16 points a week, and seemingly scores at least a touchdown every week.
Yes.
Last week he had 6 targets for 59 yards and a tud and a 13-point performance. Week before that he had 10 targets for 6 receptions, 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. A.J. Brown is a start every week. He's a lot.
Yeah, this is going to be I truly believe this could be game of the week right here. If the Commanders show up like they did last week, this could be game of the week.
Could this be the trap
Monday
game?
night.
Could this be the
No,
trap game?
I just think it'll be a very hard competitive game.
They're setting it up to be that way. Monday
I love
night.
Chris Olave this week
took the
against the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary
Absolutely.
with Michael Thomas out with his toe,
Forever.
his big toe.
Done. Olave's currently
Olave's the one who's going to get hammered with targets.
absolutely, and he's
Yes.
currently wide receiver 14, and that was
And
that was-
Marquise, what the hell's his name? Galloway. He's cute, but he drops a lot of balls.
Yeah.
I mean, outside Olave, they really don't have anybody else that's consistent.
Olave is going to be a solid wide receiver too that'll
Yeah.
get you double digits every week. And I think going forward, you could see better than that. He hasn't had a touchdown in the last 4 games. I expect for that to be a little bit of a bounce back this week. I think he'll get back
Alvin
into
Kamara's
that.
getting more involved in the offense now,
Absolutely.
too. Now that he's back,
Yep.
that helps everything, especially there. I love Jerry Jeudy against the Tennessee Titans this week.
Wow.
You were talking about your boy Russ Wilson. Let's see if he can get it done.
I hope so. I mean, I'd love to see Denver have a nice week this week.
I'd like to see Jeudy get targeted heavier than he's
Same.
been.
Absolutely. How do you feel about DeAndre Hopkins going? I mean, he's only had 3
You know
games.
what? I don't know what to think. Like I told you last week, I don't know what to think with
He's averaging
with
18
him and
through
Murray.
3 games.
I think if Murray can get him the ball, it makes sense. But I mean, if he can't develop if he gets too cute and he's just running around and ad-libbing. I don't think that's a good thing. I think they need to play within the system and hammer the shit out of him with targets.
Well, you haven't talked about Amari Cooper yet this week.
That's because
He
I
did it
do
last
not like Amari Cooper against that Dolphins secondary.
I don't remember him doing it last week either.
Wow, shocked.
I don't like him against the Dolphins secondary.
A couple other ones that I
Michael
noticed.
Pittman versus the Raiders. Sit him. Don't play him. I wouldn't play any guy from fucking Indy.
You and me are on a wave. You know that?
Why?
That was the next thing I was about to say.
How can you play Michael Pittman right now when Ellinger is throwing for fucking 80 yards a game?
I don't like Michael Pittman. I absolutely love a start of Gabe Davis this week, even though he's been slow.
I hate Drake London.
Drake London.
Drake London versus the Carolina Panthers secondary. I hate it. Hate it.
How do you feel about Darnell Mooney against Detroit?
I'll tell you why I like against Detroit, and it's not a receiver. It's Cole Kmet, the tight end.
You think so, eh?
I love him against Detroit this week.
Mooney got his first touchdown of the year last week in a 7-reception, 43-yard performance. That was only the third time he's put up double digits this year after starting off the year with 4 points in 4
That was
games.
not his fault. They weren't even throwing it.
Yeah, they needed help.
I don't like Adam Thielen this week against the Buffalo Bills either.
Like, let's be real here. I think we can start to write Adam Thielen off. I don't really know if I like Adam Thielen any week again.
I mean, he's good if you don't have anybody to play. If you got a guy on a bye week, plug him in. Other than that, I wouldn't play him.
No, he shouldn't be in your.
His 5 to 7 points a week is not helping.
He's averaging 9.
Sorry,
And
5 to 9.
He has 2 touchdowns on the year.
Okay,
Yeah. You can.
he's just not targeted enough.
Bruce,
he's not going to get
Bruce
targeted.
getting all irritated right now because
Well,
Thielen's his
because
man.
Bruce knows that we're
Actually,
right.
you know what we did without even realizing it? We have talked about every single player Bruce is starting this week and told him that we hated him.
We have
Miles Sanders.
And guess what? I'm still playing them all, baby.
Raheem
Sorry, sorry,
Oh,
Bruce.
fuck.
Sorry.
I'll take Carter for the.
Are we going to talk about tight ends now? I think we covered the receiver thing.
Yeah, I agree.
We didn't like.
Let's talk about tight ends.
TJ Hawkinson.
My start of the week. My start of the week, Kyle Pitts.
Oh,
He's
wow.
going to be unveiled as tight end of the week. It's my lock. Kyle Pitts against the Carolina Panthers.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm not.
You've got to be joking.
No, I'm not. I love Kyle Pitts this week.
You've loved him every other week,
I
too.
love him
and
this week.
How's that going for
That's
you?
why I drafted this idiot.
No, I don't.
Gesicki.
I
No,
don't.
like I said earlier, Cole Kmet against the Lions. He had 2 tugs last week. He was targeted
Tugs?
like 8 times.
Tugs?
I love
He
it.
had 2 tugs? He got tugged twice, eh?
He got tugged twice.
I was going to disagree with you there because I don't love Pitts at all, ever.
Okay.
But I'll say this much. I do love Hawkinson against Buffalo. I think he has a big game this week. I love sorry, I had a frog in my throat. Njoku, if he plays, monitor that, questionable. I like Njoku
Yeah, but
to come back.
he's still banged up, and I don't trust that. I don't trust that yet.
I'm going to trust it. I like Njoku against Miami.
Okay.
I also love, I think Evan Ingram is going to emerge as one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite targets in this game against Kansas City.
Okay.
I can feel it in my plums. I don't know why.
In your
And I like
plums?
for Higbee to have a little bit of a bounce back game against Arizona.
I like
because he's
Cade
been
Otton.
Oh,
versus
who
the
doesn't
Seattle
love Cade Otton?
Seahawks defense this week?
Who
if
doesn't
he gets
love Cade
targeted
Otton?
like he did last week, he's going to be a fucking difference maker.
You mean Cade Gronkowski Jr.?
Anyway,
But yeah, Tyler Higbee, I want to talk about him for a minute. He started out the year 7-10-8, 12-8. Last 3 games, 1-2-0. I think he comes back. I think there's a bounce back this week. I think Higbee reemerges as one of Stafford's targets against Arizona. Just because Matt Stafford needs somebody. He needs something. I mean, he needs something. He can't be as putrid as he has been playing.
okay.
That's what I will say there.
Oh boy, Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert's an automatic start every week.
Yeah. I do not like Mike Gesicki against
Oh
Cleveland
my
this week.
God.
Gesicki, man, the last few games, he's just dropping passes. I just don't trust him right now.
You like your boy Dolchich against Tennessee.
I love that kid.
I know you do.
I love that kid. That kid's tough. He catches the ball. He knows what to do after he catches it. I don't think they target him enough.
shit your pants?
Oh, I'm playing with the bottle down here.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, you'd know if I shit my pants.
Anyway,
You'd be running out of here.
Keenan Allen not expected to practice today. So there's a little
there
bit
you
more
go.
information that you
that
needed
doesn't help anything.
on the Chargers. And you know what else? I think if Keenan Allen continues to not be healthy, if Mike Williams is not healthy, I think I'm kind of in on Gerald Everett a little bit now. I was trying to trade this guy this week, and I'm sitting here looking at the options for the Chargers. And granted, he has not had a boom game all year. He has 2 touchdowns on the year.
Well, that's the little dude. He's going to get hammered with targets for the.
I don't know who the little dude. Okay. Anyway,
Oh, you know what I'm talking
he's
about.
talking
the
about the little
return
dude.
guy. The return guy.
Carter or Palmer?
Carter.
Okay, thank
Carter's
you.
going to get the majority of the targets.
I agree, but at the end of the day, I think Gerald Everett could see a little bit of Mike Williams drop off because I
Maybe
think
in the red zone, they get into the red
that's
zone.
what
they're
I'm
gonna
saying.
Look for him.
You might steal a
Yeah.
touchdown out of him, and I like that this week. Let's talk about some defense.
Team D.
Do I have to go here?
You do, unfortunately.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I like the Dallas Cowboys against the
I
Green Bay Packers.
literally knew that was
Love
gonna
it.
come out of your mouth.
Love it. Love their defense against the Packers.
Shit.
I do.
That was predictable. Come
I'm
on.
going to tell you one that's not predictable that I like.
Who?
I like the Arizona Cardinals against the fucking Rams this week. I think the Rams are done, and I think if they lose this game, you can throw the dirt on them.
You're throwing the dirt,
You
eh?
can throw the fucking
You're
dirt
throwing
on
the
them.
dirt.
Not only with the dirt, but you're also just throwing out predictable things here.
What do you mean predictable thing?
Bruce
playing a
wants
deep-
something deep.
Playing a defense against the Rams, that okay.
The Cardinals' defense is not that good.
Are you
But
ready?
I got
You could play the Lions D against the fucking Rams, and they'd put up fucking numbers.
No. But there is one place where I think you can play the Lions D.
Say that again. Say that one more time.
I think this week against the Chicago Bears will be one of the last and only viable weeks that you could play the Detroit Lions defense this year. I mean, just hold on before you laugh at me too hard. They put up an 11 last week against Green Bay. They also had 3 picks and only
Well, that's
allowed
why
9
they
points.
had the 11 points.
Correct.
They only allowed, what, 5?
But I'm going to say this
9? Whatever it was.
9 points. I'm going to say this. Chicago's been playing pretty well.
That is true.
Justin Fields has been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
It's about time they have a slump. Detroit could fall into one. They'll probably still lose, but Justin Fields could look poor.
Okay.
It's a hunch. It's a hunch. We'll talk more about it Friday.
Yeah, if you just stick somebody with speed on them, for fuck's sakes.
How do you feel about the Chargers D against San Francisco?
Well,
I'm playing them, even though they're
I
probably
mean,
not a good idea.
I don't think that's going to be a high-scoring affair.
I don't.
I really don't.
I think it's gonna be some smash.
I
mouth
think
shit.
that could be some smash mouth shit going
Yeah.
on there.
You think?
I do.
I don't know. Something tells me that that game is not going to be the.
Chargers D's been very disappointing this year.
Something's telling me the 49ers are
if-
just going to stampede these motherfuckers.
If the Chargers had their full capacity of offense, I would actually love them in this game.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you like the Giants D against Houston?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Do you like the Titans D against Denver?
Actually, I don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
And I don't know
I don't
why.
know what it is about the Titans, but you know they just don't do it for me defensively. And now Bud Dupree is questionable again. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
just
we
don't
crowned them on Monday's show.
don't
we
trust
crowned Tennessee's defense on Monday.
The only thing that keeps the Titans relevant is that they have the ball 10 minutes longer than any other team they play because all they do is run Derrick Henry.
Because they physically
That's
cannot
all they
throw
do. They shorten the game up by doing what they're doing.
it. I mean,
It's working.
it's working.
It's working for them.
It's working.
But sooner or later, they're going to run into a team where they're going to have to be able to have a threat of throwing the football.
Or run into a problem with their running back.
Some news. Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Indianapolis Colts, who missed last week's game with an ankle.
I actually
Injury?
like him this week against the Raiders.
He did participate in practice today.
Yeah, I like him against the Raiders.
We're looking for a
For
comeback.
some
there.
reason, their defense was awful. But Blake Martinez should have a field day this week for the Raiders. for their
Blake
defense.
Martinez.
Yes.
Yeah.
He should have a field day this week. Whoever has him, play him. Play the shit out of him. What?
Just this whole. Oh yeah. It's like he didn't care.
Well, no, it's not that I didn't care. I was reading.
Under
Oh,
the
okay.
influence of fucking stupidity.
The Washington, D.C. attorneys.
I feel like I'm aging over here just because you're in my presence.
Help me out on that one. The Washington, D.C. Attorney General's office emailed reporters regarding a press conference that will take place tomorrow where Attorney General Karl Racine will make a major announcement related to the Washington Commanders.
Is it an indictment of Daniel Schneider?
I guess we're going to have
it
to
an
wait and
indictment?
see.
Like I said before, if you're going to indict him, you got to indict every one of them other 30 fucking one assholes that own teams too.
The Titans have designated wide receiver Treylon Burks to return from injured reserve, as the Colts have done with none other than Ashton Doolin.
Oh, wow. That's a
And
difference maker.
if Josh Allen does not play this week, that would mark the fourth game this season that the Vikings faced a team
Without the
out
starting
their starting
quarterback.
quarterback,
Yeah.
which could be a good
Is that a
testament
reason why
to
they're
them.
6-1?
Yep. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford has entered the concussion protocol after today's practice.
What? You're kidding me. Who's his backup? That's a good question. Look that up. Who's the backup there, Ashton?
Let's see. I'm honestly interested about this too. Let's see.
I don't know who the Rams backup.
John Wolford and Bryce Perkins.
Say that again.
John Wolford,
Is he next in line?
he's two.
Okay.
Uh,
Who the fuck is John Wolford?
he is a 27-year-old quarterback out of Wake Forest.
A what?
What?
What the
He
fuck?
has-
He's older than Matt Stafford, for Christ's sake.
Last season, he appeared. Oh no, actually, he appeared in 2 games this year.
But I don't even know who you're talking
2021 regular season opponents. He came in against Houston and had 2 attempts, 1 completion.
about. Is that in
or-
mop-up duty or something?
Yep, for 5
Okay,
yards.
okay.
And then last year against the Giants, he came in 2 attempts, no completions. So he has 5 total passing yards and a sack
As a career?
as a career.
That's very enlightening.
His QBR career is 0.1.
Okay.
And outside of John Wolford, it's Bryce Perkins,
okay.
who is a 25-year-old quarterback out of Virginia,
Okay.
who has no statistical information available. So
Okay.
could be a interesting week for the Los Angeles Rams.
And if Stafford can't go, wait a minute. You're saying he's entered today. Today is what day is it today? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday. If he entered protocol today, he won't be able to play Sunday.
Well, he's in concussion protocol, so we'll have to monitor this.
See, this is shady. This is what I was talking about with this bullshit with these injuries. You know what I'm saying? Because by all rights, every guy that's entered Tua Tagovailoa entered concussion protocol was out for 4 weeks. Understandably why. But if you're entering concussion protocol, I don't see how you could be able to be ready to play in 2 days.
I guess we'll see. We'll
I
monitor.
mean, he's
that.
got to at least practice by Saturday.
Yeah.
Because if he can't practice, how can you play him?
We will monitor that and update you on Friday. But another big piece of news: T.J. Watt is due for a potential return this Sunday against the New Orleans Saints.
Really?
That is one to keep an eye on. Other than that,
T.J. Watt.
Other than that, I think that's it for Fantasy Frenzy this week. Keep it short and sweet, you know? Oh, and the Rams have designated Coleman Shelton to return. That's a good
Coleman
one to
Shelton?
add on. I have no idea.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for listening to another
loves
episode of the
that.
Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. If you are listening to us on Spotify and Apple Music, make sure to watch us on YouTube and click subscribe. We will be back again on Friday
Just trying to figure out why.
with a preview of all of the Week 10 matchups.
You mean Saturday?
Whatever fucking day it comes out. See you guys then.
Saturday.